join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Everybody greet your neighbors, please. Lots of good fellowship out there. Doug Drush will be praying for me today. So
Justin needs all the prayers he can get. The motto of Northwestern University, my undergrad alma mater, is "Quaecumque sunt vera," which roughly translates from the Greek meaning "whatsoever things are true." It comes from chapter 4 of Paul's letter to the Philippians, verse 8, which reads as follows: "Whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are noble, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are of good report, if there is any virtue and if there is anything praiseworthy, meditate on these things." Amen.
well, thank you, Doug. Appreciate that. Always got my back. Cheryl, we're going to see if I can grab these slides here. We had trouble with that. Ron Umstutz was saying space bar yesterday, and the other week, there we go. There's, hold on, one more. Oh yeah, there's a good-looking guy. Hey, hopefully everybody had a good week and a good weekend. A couple of announcements here is, first off, I'm not obviously President Terry. He is under the weather today, so I got the call about 37 minutes ago saying, "Can you stand in?" I said, "Not a problem." So here we are today. But a couple announcements is that our Parade of Flags program, for those who, for our guests, we have one of the largest parade of flags throughout the nation here in Worcester. And this year, Tom Rumbaugh and Lee King, his team, they have 3,000 flags that are prepared already. I was talking to Tom today. He said that he has a maintenance day scheduled in May, and we're ahead of schedule, so likely that's not even going to be needed. So let's give ourselves a round of applause for 3,000 flags. And those are all prepped and ready for the year. If you did not make it to the wine tasting on Tuesday, shame on you. It was a great event. Here's our own Phil Mariola giving an overview of some of the wine that was had at the Worcester Country Club again on Tuesday. Here's a good group of people that showed up. We had about 50 Rotarians that showed up on Tuesday evening. And here's some of the food that was, when you're trying to make sure that we know you missed something so you don't miss the next one. And then, of course, the wine. So it was a good evening. And Phil Mariola, thank you so much for putting that on. Again, it's some of those things, trying to do some socials outside of the club as well, which is important. What about the weekend? How about this one, huh? I'm a little confused. I'm a little ready for spring. I know the First Lady and I were talking about that. We are definitely ready for some warmer weather. So the daffodils are a little confused. And the upper photo is actually just west of Mansfield, where they actually did get some snow that was sticking. But yesterday with the sun, it's amazing how much it makes you feel better. And this week, folks, it looks like our temperatures are going to get up there a little bit. So what does that mean? My father always tells me that I should be ready to start mowing on April 15th. He's like, that's when you'll start mowing around April 15th, and you'll put the mower away around November 1st. So I bet you anything, come this Friday, I'll probably be mowing. So get ready for that. And then also, just in the sports scene, since I'm a sports guy, the Cavaliers somewhat kind of made the playoffs, right? So that's kind of cool. Yeah. They're young, they've been injured, and they get to play the Brooklyn Nets on tomorrow night at 7. So there's Kyrie and Garland. They'll be battling it out tomorrow. That'll be fun. And then the Guardians. I had to get the shirt here because I got to get used to saying the Guardians. But Their season opener is on Friday. They play San Francisco Giants with a payroll of about 150 million. Don't worry, our little $47 million payroll is bringing it strong. So on Friday, baseball will be alive in Cleveland again. We're excited to see that. And just in recognition of President Terry, his absence, he always likes to say what happened this day in history. Lyndon B. Johnson signed the Civil Rights Act on this day in 1968. So some good announcements there. Is any other announcements out here that need to be had before I turn things over to Secretary Lynn? Seeing none, Secretary Lynn, it's your show.
Thank you, Past President Justin. We will start our introductions with Katie Coleman from the podium.
Thank you. I have several guests today. Robert Dodaro, please stand. He is one of our board members and the president founder of Present Wealth Management. Who is the executive director of the Orville Area United Way. Haley Cox is the office manager at United Way, and she also is the manager of the Imagination Library Program. And Ariana Liggett, another one of my board members from PNC, and they are strong supporters of this program.
We would also like to welcome members of the First Lady's staff that are with us today. Lizzie Goodwin is Northeast Ohio Regional Liaison. And Cecilia Comerford, who is the Special Assistant to the First Lady. Welcome. We do have a visiting Rotarian today, Mary Graves from Santa Rosa, California. Many of you may recognize Mary because she's been with us on Zoom for many weeks. And she also has a guest, Pam Whitaker. Matt Morton has the traveling microphone, and we are going to get you ready for your first day of fair because we're going to run you around. How's that? We'll start with Commissioner Ron Amstutson.
My guest today is John Oster, who has been representing me on the planning commission for a year and is also a township trustee and a first responder paramedic.
Right behind that table, Diane Everidge. Across the aisle, Tom Rumbaugh.
I invite Mr. Ramon.
And across the aisle again. Ryan, would you like to introduce yourself today again?
Hi, nice to talk about you tonight. My name is Ryan Constance. I'm a Director from Brazil, and I'm a student from the College of Ministers. So it's great to be here again. Thank you.
Happy to come, same table.
From the College of Worcester, I also got Julie Lera, who is a rising junior, and she is a recipient of the DeWine Award for the Department of English and wanted to hear from the First Lady today. This is my daughter, Karen Reese. She administers a Guardian ad Litem program. She's also a Hawaiian, but I try not to hold out against her.
Finally, Mary Beth Burns.
Hi, I'm happy today to be able to introduce you to Mike Jarrett from Jarrett Logistics and Daphne Ashcraft from the Orville Public Library. Daphne is also the president of the Orville Rotary.
Thank you. Welcome to all of you.
Quite the list of guests there. We appreciate you being here today. We hope that you enjoy the program. I just got a text message from President Terry saying I'm doing okay, but make sure I don't make any wisecracks. There he is. You're right there, Terry. Terry's waving. He's feeling all right. He's upstairs in the attic. So that's where he's going to be for the next couple of days. So Terry, hopefully I do a good job for you today. I'm going to turn things over to Katie Kogelman, who will have Kogelman. I always butcher the last name. It's Katie K, who will be introducing our speaker today. Always, right?
Thanks, Justin, always. Fran DeWine is the mother of 8 children, grandmother to 26 grandchildren, and the First Lady of Ohio. Growing up in Yellow Springs, she met Mike DeWine in the 1st grade. In the 7th grade, he asked her out on a bowling date, and the rest is history. Fran has always been a determined advocate for children. Years ago, Fran saw the joy in her grandchildren's eyes when they received a personalized book in the mail each month from Dolly Parton's Imagination Library program. She decided that if Mike ever became governor, she would like to expand this program statewide. When she became First Lady, only 13% of Ohio kids were enrolled in Dolly Parton's Imagination Library. Now, every child in Ohio, spanning all 88 counties, is eligible to receive a free age-appropriate book in the mail each month from birth to age 5. Today, thanks to Fran and her work, 44% of Ohio children, almost 317,000, are enrolled in receiving the books. The Ohio Governor's Imagination Library has sent out 7.2 million books so far. Please join me in welcoming First Lady of Ohio, Fran DeWine.
Thank you so much. It's good to be here. And Worcester really is one of my very favorite places in the world. 2 of our kids went to the College of Worcester, and our grandson also went to the College of Worcester. And now one of our scholarship recipients that we give at our local high school is going to Worcester ATI. And he is so excited to come. His family is a farming family. He's so excited to come. But his father is more excited than wants to know if he can enroll too, because it just sounds so great. So anyway, it's good to be here. I've enjoyed coming here over the years. I've enjoyed graduations. I've enjoyed going to the county fair, and it's just a great place. And it's good to see our recipient of the Becky DeWine scholarship. Our daughter Becky graduated in '93, and she was killed in otherwise just a couple of months later. But we established not a very big scholarship, but basically what Becky always said is that a lot of kids, they go to school, they can get the tuition, but then they want to go off and do an internship or something, and they don't have money to live on while they're doing these internships. And so what we do is provide a stipend for someone, usually in the English department, just so they can go off and study and maybe work for a newspaper that's not going to pay them hardly anything, and they can survive during that time. So we're so happy to have you here today. Thank you. And thank you, Katie. I met Katie a couple of years ago when we were just starting the Imagination Library, when I was just starting it, and she was in Oroville and running the program there, and we were so excited about it. And thank you for just allowing me to speak at the Rotary meeting today about the Imagination Library. And so, as you heard in the intro, I first learned about it because actually 2 of my little grandkids were staying with us while their home was getting finished. And I was there the day that the mail came, and they got their books in the mail, and the books are wrapped in simple plastic, and they were so excited, and they ripped off the plastic, and it was a read to me, Grandma moment. And I saw the joy and excitement. I mean, even these are kids that have books in their home, but that excitement of getting a piece of mail addressed to them and having a book. And I thought, this really is a wonderful thing. This is something we should do for all Ohio kids. And so actually one of my friends, Barbara Mills, is a Rotarian, and I had just mentioned it to her. And so she took as her mission to take me to the Greene County Library, which is where the program, or my kids were getting it through our local library. They were the affiliate. And so I sat down with the librarian of the Greene County Library and talked about the whole program. And I thought, if Mike is elected, this is what I want to do. I want to make sure every child in Ohio is eligible to get these books. We wanted every child to get these books at absolutely no cost to the families. All of our kids should have equal access to literacy resources. So the books come in the mail, and they're very simple books, and they're wrapped like this one. They're wrapped in plastic. This is a board book, so it comes to one of the kids, the little kids, but they're wrapped in plastic, and the books are actually addressed to your children. And I think that's really, you might not think that's important, but it really is to those kids. And just watching my own grandkids, they like to keep track of which books are theirs, and so they're always saying, no, that's not yours, this one's mine. So I even talked to a mother of twins the other day, and I said, is it a problem for you? These books are age appropriate. I said, is it a problem to you that your twins are getting the same book? And she said, not at all. She said, it is actually a relief that each one has their own book with their own name on it. So that's good. So the first book they get when they start is Dolly Parton's favorite, The Little Engine That Could. I think I can, I think I can. And then when they turn 5 years old, the last book that they get before is Look Out Kindergarten, Here I Come. And it's just such a fun one. But I have to tell you that a lot of children around Ohio are depressed when they get this because it needs no more books. So they really, really do love this. So this month, there were more than 316,000 Ohio kids that received the Imagination Library books in the mail. Here in Wayne County, 3,448 kids are receiving the books each month. You in Wayne County, you are at 44% of kids getting the books, and our state average is 44%, so you're right up there. These books are more than pictures and words. They spark learning, imagination, curiosity, and really family bonding, between the parents and even between older brothers and sisters is so important. And Mike and I want to see every child enter kindergarten with a good, strong start. Our kids only grow up once and they grow very fast. So we need to work together to help them grow up, giving each child the very best shot at success. Reading is one of the single greatest things we can do for our kids and with our kids. And the earlier, the better. Brain science shows that a child's brain is actually 80% developed by the time they're 3 years old. So we can't waste those early years. Those first 3 years are so critical to their development. Kids who enter kindergarten without the basic knowledge of books, things like reading from front to back and just things that maybe we take for granted, are really at a disadvantage. And this disadvantage really, increases over years. So these children who struggle at the start of kindergarten are much more likely, if they haven't had some just that interaction with books, then they're much more likely actually to drop out of high school. So, I don't think we realize how important that's what happens before kindergarten is to whether they're going to graduate or not. I'd like to conclude by encouraging all Wayne County parents and grandparents, caregivers to take a few minutes to enroll their children by visiting ohioimaginationlibrary.org. I want to see every child across Ohio take advantage of the literacy gift that is free from all Ohio families. So I want to thank you very much. On your tables, there are some little cookbooks. Over the years, I've done a lot of little campaign cookbooks just for fun because I do love to cook. And so I thought, I'm going to do one really just to promote the Dolly Parton Imagination Library. So we called down to Tennessee to see if Dolly Parton had a recipe that we could put in, and her people said, well, you know, she has a whole cookbook, use whatever you want. So the cookbook is full of Dolly's recipes and mine. Dolly and I did not sit down together and make it, so it's a little thing. But on the back of it, the inside back cover really tells statistics about, you know, the 80% the child's brain development, and how, you know, a child that's been enrolled in the Imagination Library for 3 years comes up 15 points on kindergarten readiness. I think that's so important. And on the very back, there's a QR code that you can sign up, or there's the Imagination Library website that you can sign the kids up. I found over the years that a lot of people, especially women, throw away nice campaign material, but they never throw away the cookbooks. So. So if you want any for your organization or something to promote the Imagination Library, we'd be happy to give it to you. Thank you very much. Any questions, if anyone has any? So one note that I didn't mention, there are more kids getting the books in Ohio, not percentage-wise, but number-wise. There are actually more kids getting the books in Ohio than any other state in the union. So that's pretty exciting to us. I think we're giving out 314,000 every single month. So that's a lot of books.
I have one. What's your source of funding?
So, you know, funding, every county, we have a unique model in Ohio. We follow the Tennessee model. And so in Ohio, every county has an affiliate. Okay, so the affiliate for this county is United Way. And the United Way signs the kids up and raises the money. And then all the money that they raise, the state of Ohio, our state legislature, is matching that money. So the amazing thing is that we get these books from Dolly Parton delivered to the home for $2.10 each. And you know, you can't buy a book for that, you can't mail a book for that. So, and the state is paying half of that. So basically anything that is raised in this county, you know, $1.05 delivers a book. So that's what's really amazing. So we're just excited to make this. It's absolutely free to every single family. And we encourage people to sign up. Dolly Parton always said that she didn't want them just for poor kids. She wanted them for all kids because she didn't want there to be a stigma with her books. So I think it's important that we just sign people up. And I tell people, you know, I have people that tell me that well, their kids have books. And I think, you know, well, sign your child up anyway, sign your grandchild up, you know, and then, you know, give $25 to sponsor another child somewhere in the county. You know, so, or $250 or whatever. So I just think that it's good. When I talk to preschool teachers and their kids, you know, they really try to sign them all up. And the teachers tell us that the kids have so much fun because they're getting the same book. And so it's almost like they have their own little book club. You know, they talk about their books, and, you know, I think that's just a great thing to encourage reading. Any other questions?
What is the mechanism for getting this information into the hands of the families, of the parents? How do they find out?
Well, what we're really trying to do in most of our counties, and we're doing it here, is we love to get the babies signed up the day they're born. So our birthing hospitals, if they can sign the kids up, or in some hospitals, a nurse will go around with an iPad and sign them up, and some of them they just give them the form and let them sign them up. So we work with our birthing hospitals. You know, if they sign up, as soon as they're born, they're going to get 60 books before they turn 5 years old. So that's quite a library. And the books change every year. So if you have an older sibling, they will have different books already. So they change every year and they're always age appropriate. So we try at the birthing hospitals. We try anything where we can get kids together. We try at our preschools, our Head Start. community organizations, a lot of times at the fair or, and I also tell everybody, if you don't remember the website, go to your public library. Every public library in the state of Ohio is set to sign the kids up. So that's a really important. And that's how my grandkids signed up, actually, at the public library.
My grandson is also a recipient of books and just loves them. But I was interested to see your statistic about the 15.4% among the kids in Cincinnati. But I was wondering over time, what kinds of assessments are in place for this? And maybe back it up, how long has the imagination library been in children's lives to increase their level of literacy?
Yeah, so I think it's been close to 20 years, I think, in Tennessee. What happened in Ohio is we had in pockets of the state, our county library in Greene County, where I live, decided to do it very early. Cincinnati Children's Hospital is the affiliate for that area, and they started signing up their kids who were patients. And what they found, and then they decided to do a study. So after 3 years of getting the books, the kids came up 15 points on the kindergarten readiness score. So that was done. I think that study was finished like about 2018, because it was just as I was starting. They were just getting the results. Case Western Reserve has just done a study, and it's almost exactly the same thing. The Literacy Cooperative in Cleveland has been doing a study. So there's lots and lots of different groups that are measuring this, and they're all the results are pretty much the same. So, and sometimes the Literacy Cooperative in Cleveland, they do a lot of emailing with their parents, and they had actually had one mother that told them that she was taking reading classes herself, so she could read these books to her kids. So I think there's lots of really good things going on with it.
This is really a question for Katie. I know we started this program a couple of years ago here. What's been your progress with the program here in Wayne County?
So as many of you know, the program here in Wayne County started in Orville. They've been doing it for over 20 years. So almost one of the first imagination libraries. Since we took on the whole county and Holmes County, like Fran said, we're up to 44% enrollment, which is huge. And each month it grows a little bit each month in both counties. And the children have been so grateful that our community has really responded to this program as well, as far as giving donations. We have an ad in the Amish vendor. So we have so many Amish families signed up, which is really good, and families who are willing to sponsor children, like Fran said, as their children graduate. We never ask a family for money while they're in the program, but as soon as their child graduates, we send them a letter and say, hey, have you loved it? Would you sponsor another child? And that response has been overwhelming as well. And just a side note from what Fran said, we are working with Worcester Community Hospital. Thank you. They give out the first book at birth. We're working with Altman Orville and Pomerene, as well as some of the Amish midwives in Holmes County.
Any other questions?
Today, I'm down in the library, and I just wanted to let you know that we do see families who sometimes have missed it. We encourage them to sign up for grandparents. And next month, we are partnering with Dawn at the Orville Medway to our story walk in Orville, to live a little bit good. So we hope to get people out. And if they don't have the book, or they know about the book, or maybe they can sponsor.
Thank you. That's great. We've done a lot of these storybook trails in our state parks around the state. And so I decided that at the governor's residence, we have these beautiful heritage gardens. And I thought, you know, it'd be fun to do one right here, because we have a lot of visitors who come in and we have a lot of children in the summer. So I looked through all the Dolly Parton books for the year, and one of them was Peter Rabbit. And I thought, that's perfect. So we've got the very first scene of Peter Rabbit starts with the big fir tree. Well, we have a willow oak that's at least this big around, with all these holes in the bottom that you know Peter lives in. And so we start our trail there. We plant some blackberries. The second page talks about Flopsy, Mopsy, and Cottontail going to pick the blackberries. Peter Rabbit goes to Mr. McGregor's garden, and Mrs. Rabbit goes to the bakery to buy a loaf of brown bread and some currant buns. And so where we have the page that tells that I actually made an oven, a bunny oven that looks like it goes in the bakery, and I made it about this tall, and it was made with an upside down flower pot, but I put bricks on it and stones on it in the chimney. And so I have it all kind of set up, so when the kids look at that, they'll kind of imagine what Mrs. Rabbit is doing, you know. And then Mr. McGregor's garden, I made a Peter Rabbit a little blue velvet coat that is hanging on the scarecrow with some little shoes too. So we're just trying to do fun things. And so when we have kids in this summer to the summer feeding program, we try to do that. We'll let the kids go into Mr. McGregor's garden, and we'll pick some food and we'll make some things, and it'll be fun.
You know, Fran, I will tell you, it's a little awkward today though, because typically we have a date at 2 o'clock. Over the last couple of years, the updates with COVID-19 and just you sharing much of your knowledge. You did, yeah, exactly. But I will tell you today, when I left the office, they said, well, who's the guest speaker at Rotary? I said, well, Fran DeWine. And my assistant said, oh, Fran, well, tell her that I love her chicken noodle soup recipe. It's the best. So just over the last couple of years, honestly, how you and Mike have done a great job of bringing yourself, humanizing yourself through the COVID-19 pandemic and the updates. And today is a testament to you just being a salt of the earth type of people. And we appreciate you, not only you as a person, but your public service here in the state of Ohio. So thank you for being here. In recognition of being here today, we've got a rendition of our Rotary Wheel. It's made locally and donated here. I'll give you 2 of these so you can give it yourself and on your staff. Folks, it was a good program today. Next week, we've got Keith Workman, who will give an update on riding the Great American Rail Trail. If there's no other updates, I don't see anybody with their hand raised, then we stand adjourned today. Have a good week, everybody.